My name's Chris Floyd. I'm with the Disaster Resistant Communities Group, and welcome to the Formidable Footprint exercise briefing. What we're going to do today is go over some of the basics on the exercise in terms of material, supplies, team participation, and then we're going to walk through several screen captures of various components of the exercise so that you fully understand how the exercise will flow when you and your team are playing through the exercise. To start off with, it's very important to understand that the exercise is a team participation exercise. We strongly recommend a minimum of 3 individuals come together. It can be in a local church, a fire station, an emergency operations center, but to work together as a team because there is a lot of discussion that should occur amongst team members during the exercise. On the high end, if you have more than 15 individuals that are participating at one location, we strongly recommend that you break into several teams of more workable groups to participate through the exercise, providing each team with their own computer and their own LCD projector, allowing them to work as a small team, such as a neighborhood, as they work through the exercise. Some basics on the actual exercise in the Onyx system. It's very important on the day of the exercise that you have access to high-speed internet. The Onyx system works best with a DSL or cable modem. There are images, there are videos, there are interactive maps, etc., which really takes that high-speed internet to drive the exercise. On the day of the exercise, you'll have one individual in your team who will actually be the person that logs into the exercise. He or she will be driving the exercise at the keyboard, but they'll need to display it through an LCD projector up on a screen, or if you have a flat panel TV, that's another method of displaying the exercise. So only one person will be sitting in front of a computer driving the exercise, but displaying it through an LCD projector or on a flat panel television screen. From the standpoint of your internet browsers, you want to make sure that you're using either Firefox version 3.0 or greater or Internet Explorer 7.0 or greater. Those are very important internet browser issues. During the exercise, there will be a number of videos. We embed videos in the exercise to give as much reality to the scenario as we possibly can. We want you to really get an understanding of what's going on, whether it's a tornado striking, a hurricane, or an influenza pandemic. And the way we try to do this is by embedding videos in the exercise. Now, with those videos, it's going to be very important to understand that you have to have Flash Player installed on the computer in which you are using. Plus, you'll need to make sure whichever internet service provider that you're using allows you to access YouTube videos. All of the videos that are embedded in the Formidable Footprint exercises are hosted on YouTube. So what I would do prior to the exercise is use the computer that you'll be using on the day of and access YouTube and make sure that there are no prohibitions against using YouTube videos on the system that you'll be utilizing on the day of the exercise. Throughout the exercise, there are various maps embedded in the exercise. Those maps are designed to give you the look and feel of the community, the simulated community we have built for the exercise that you will be playing through. The maps come in 2 different forms. You'll have an option of either playing with a static map, which is like an embedded image, or you will have the opportunity to access interactive maps, which will provide an opportunity for zooming in and turning off layers on the map, zooming up and down, right and left, etc. If you plan to use the interactive maps, you'll need to download Silverlight, which is a free application from from Microsoft, and make sure that is on your computer. We also recommend, if you're going to try to use the interactive maps, that you access Formidable Footprint, scroll down the page, click on the how to use the maps icon, and spend a little time manipulating the map that we provide to you on the Formidable Footprint exercise. But you will have the option to either use an interactive map or a static map, depending on what you're most comfortable with. On the day of the exercise, anytime between 9 a.m. Eastern Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you and your team can access the Onyx system by simply going to onyxsystem.com and log in and begin to play in the exercise. The exercise duration lasts anywhere from about 2 to 3 hours, and it's really important to understand that this is a self-paced exercise. There will be teams that work through the material in just over 2 hours, and there will be some teams that take more than 3 hours to move through all the various injects and scenarios in the exercise. Once you've accessed the Onyx system, in the lower right hand corner is the login. One person on your team will need to log in using their username and password, and once they have logged in, they will go into the exercise system, and up in the upper left hand corner under the big red banner, there'll be another little small banner that says your exercises, and it will indicate the exercise in which you have registered for. In this particular case, it's the Formidable Footprint Tornado exercise. What you now need to do, your team is gathered, you're sitting around the table ready to begin the exercise. You'll click on that link to the actual exercise, and that takes you to the very start point of, in this case, the tornado exercise, or whichever exercise that you will be participating in. Two important items at this point. Once your team is ready, once you're ready to move through the actual exercise, you'll want to click on the forward arrow, click on it once, and that will begin to move you into the exercise play. Do not click on the forward arrow until everyone is there ready to play, because once you click on the forward arrow, the timers for your participation in the exercise begin to count down for the various screens that you'll be playing through. There is an overall timer for the entire exercise. That's what's in the upper right hand corner. That timer will time down to approximately 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If that timer zeroes out and you're still in play, you can continue to play. The exercise will not shut down until we actually see all the participants having moved through the exercise. So once your team is ready to begin its play in the exercise, you'll click on the forward arrow, and the first screen that you come to will be that last final exercise briefing. What is going to be extremely important as you play through the various screens of the exercise, the various scenarios and injects, that you thoroughly read all the material that's there. And what we recommend is within your team you have one individual who is the facilitator, who will be reviewing and reading the material out loud and discussing the various actions that will need to take place. But do take the time to thoroughly review this last final briefing on this particular exercise. It's important to remember you're playing as a team, you're playing through a simulated community that we've built with maps, with information on that community, but you're going to be using your plans, your resources as you move through the exercise. Also, in the upper right hand corner, you will notice a second timer. Each screen in the exercise has a timer specific to that screen. That's what that top counter is, and it will zero down starting anywhere from maybe 20 minutes and count down until it zeroes out. Different screens have different amounts of time. Some of the injects may take you 10, 15, 20 minutes to work through the material and respond accordingly, and we give you plenty enough time. The reason that there's a screen timer is to kind of give a little bit of emphasis. Guys, you need to make a decision and you need to keep moving forward. Otherwise, you may be there 4 or 5 hours trying to work through the entire exercise. So once you have digested the information on this final briefing, you're really ready to start moving into the exercise, and what you'll want to do is simply click on the forward arrow. Once you've clicked onto the forward arrow, all of the Formidable Footprint exercises will begin with some basic information on the simulated community that we have built for you to play through. There's information on the makeup of the residents of that community, how many individuals live there, their ages, the age of construction of the homes. Plus, we provide you a map of the neighborhood, so you have that big picture, if you will, of what in this particular case Broken Willow is comprised of. In this case, it's a smaller community that you will be using your resources, your plans, your procedures as you play through the exercise. So you'll want to take notes at this point as you're playing through the exercise, how many residents, what their age is, so that when you come to some of the injects, you know how to properly respond. Once you've digested the information on the simulated community, once again you'll click on the forward arrow and continue to move through the exercise. And as we do, we come up to an inject. The exercise is broken into two primary components. There are scenarios, and that's what we've looked at to date. Scenarios will always have a forward arrow in the upper right hand corner. If there's no forward arrow, we're dealing with an inject. You're going to have to review information on what's happening, and your team is going to have some discussion to determine what actions it is going to take. In this particular case, there's a video, there's a tornado warning that's been issued. You can view the video, and it's basically asking you what protective actions would you take as individuals or as team members if you are in the path of a tornado. What you will take and do on your keyboard is basically type in protective action number 1 would be seek shelter in a secure place. Also, in the exercises, throughout the exercise, you'll have the opportunity to actually click on embedded hyperlinks that will open another tab or another window, and that's that subset that you see in the lower right hand corner. That'll provide you some additional information on what is a Doppler radar, what does a tornado warning mean, or in this particular case, what are some recommended protective actions that you should take. So your team will review the material. It will type in a response, protective action number 1, this is what we would do, protective action number 2, and protective action number 3 as team or team members would take if indeed they came under a tornado warning. Once you've typed in the responses to those injects, or basically answering the questions, what you'll want to do is click on the submit button once, and that will do two things. It will save everything that you've typed into that point, plus it will continue to move you forward in the exercise. One of the items you'll receive after the exercise is an inject response report of all the information that you're typing in. Now, as we continue to move forward in the exercise, we come to another inject. Notice there's no forward arrow. That's a good indicator that this is an inject and not a scenario. If there's a forward arrow there, you just review the information, click on the forward arrow, and keep moving through. Now, this inject is a lot more in-depth than the previous one. Your team is mobilized. It's basically asking, do you use the incident command system? And that's either a yes or a no. So you would click on the appropriate radio button, either yes or no. But if you clicked on yes, it's going to basically ask you to describe how you will stand up your incident command system, who will be the incident commander, and what does that individual's role and responsibility once the team has deployed. And we give some examples throughout the exercise. Here's an example of, the logistics section chief is John Harper, and what John Harper's primary roles and responsibilities are once under the incident command system, once the team has stood up. If you were to indicate no, that we do not use the incident command system, and there are organizations that do not use ICS, you continue to scroll down and it's going to ask you, okay, what management or leadership structure in your team would you use to be able to continue responding, in this case, to a tornado that has struck our neighborhood? Crime watch organizations, neighborhood associations, some faith-based organizations that participate do not actually follow the ICS model. They have other models for providing management and leadership. As you continue to move through the exercise, you may have that opportunity as you're responding to an inject to actually wind up being timed out on an actual inject or scenario. What will happen, that top timer, as I said, every screen has a timer on it. Sometimes it might be 20 minutes, sometimes the minimum amount is 10 minutes. But if it zeroes out, like you see in the upper right hand corner, an icon appears in the middle of the page. That icon has a little bit of instructions. Basically, it tells you need to click on OK to continue to move through the exercise. What will happen if you were in the middle of typing information in, such as we were here, typing in Bradford County Office of Emergency Management, it will automatically save everything that has been typed in, all the information that has been typed in to that point, but it's going to cue you up to keep moving forward in the exercise. It's important. We're trying to keep you moving along so that the exercise, yes, being self-paced, doesn't wind up taking you 4 or 5 hours to move through the exercise. With that, we come up to the end of the exercise. Most of the Formidable footprint exercises have between 25 and 30 inject and scenario pages, and as we mentioned earlier, designed to take from 2 to 3 hours for you to participate. Once you've arrived at the end of the exercise, there are a couple of important caveats. First off, yes, we had a team of 10 individuals who are playing through the exercise. I'm the guy who logged in with my username and password. In just a minute, we're going to move on to the hot wash, and we're going to complete a group hot wash using my account. And after the hot wash is completed, because we're using my account, I'm going to have access to a certificate of participation. Well, to make sure the other 9 individuals that are on my team receive a certificate of participation, after 5 p.m. on the day of the exercise, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, each of those 9 individuals can log into the Onyx system with their username and password. They will complete their own individual hot wash and then have the ability to access and print their certificate of participation. Please do not log in to access your certificate until after 5 p.m. because the exercise is running until 4 p.m. So if you were to log in before 5 p.m., you're going to be queued up to play through the exercise, and after the exercise is shut down, that's when you need to log in as an individual to complete your individual hot wash and receive your certificate. So with the team on the day of the exercise, you'll want to click on Finish Exercise, and that will take you over to the traditional Department of Homeland Security hot wash. Think of a hot wash as an evaluation, and it's going to queue you up for 3 things that went well for you and your team. We pulled out our plan, we utilized our plan, and our plan worked pretty well based on the scenarios and injects that we were presented during the exercise. Then it's going to queue you up for 3 things that you could do to improve your capabilities. Well, during the exercise, we pulled out our team roster, and we found that a number of the phone numbers, a lot of the contact information in our team roster was out of date. We need to update our team roster. So you want to focus on 3 items that went well from the standpoint of your team participating in the exercise, and 3 items that you could spend some time and energy on to improve your capabilities in responding to disasters. Once you've entered that group hot wash, at the bottom of the page you'll click on the submit button once, and it takes you out of the exercise, and the individual whose account you used will be able to access their certificate of participation. Now, during the exercise, we really want you to capture your story and share information with us. If you have the local newspaper or television station there, please let us know. Send us those articles. We'll add them to the articles that are on the Formidable Footprint website. Also, take photos of your team participating in the exercise, or take videos. Once again, we'll host those images and videos on the Formidable Footprint exercise website, so everyone has access to see what your team is doing. And right now, they're probably 20 or 30 sets of photos from previous exercises from teams from Florida to the state of Washington. So take the opportunity, tell your story, share that information with us, show other CERT teams around the country what your team is doing. Now, after the exercise, usually about a week to week and a half following the exercise, you're going to receive an in-check response report. That in-check response report is comprised of all of the information that you have keyed in to the system as your team was playing through the exercise. You will not only receive your in-check responses, you're going to receive the in-check responses from all of the teams that are participating. So this gives you an opportunity to see how other teams around the country respond to various in-checks and scenarios. So it helps you in terms of strengthening what you're doing to see what other teams may be doing and responding to standing up their incident command team, fleshing out an incident action plan, or helping individuals respond to various components of the exercise. So that in-check response report usually takes about 5 to 7 days before it is emailed out to all the participants. Well, with that, we come to the end of our exercise briefing. We hope on the day of the exercise that you have a very positive experience. Remember, the exercise is designed for a cross-section of organizations around the country to participate in. There will be churches, community-based organizations, neighborhood organizations, government agencies playing in this exercise. So you need to make sure you put your team in the right frame of mind as you play through the various in-checks and scenarios in the exercise. With that, we hope your participation in the upcoming Formidable Footprint exercise is successful, and have a nice day.